In DC, for DC. DC Radio, 96.3 HD4 and DCRadio.gov.
You're listening to the Sonya Dunn Show. We're here with our guest, Lilian Baksalevowicz. And Lilian, did I get that right?
It's an awesome attempt. My surname is Baksalevowicz, but you're very, very close. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Lilian, we've known each other for a while.
We have, Sonya, although we've never met.
I know we've never met in person, but I already feel like you're a kindred spirit of mine. So,
but very soon, no doubt.
Yes, fingers crossed in May. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, Cannes is you can't miss Cannes.
I know. It's been a while since I've been to Cannes, so I'm looking forward to getting back there.
You know, it actually I've been here a couple of times before. But I liked it so much this time, I actually came to live here.
I know. So you moved from Africa.
Right.
And you're in South, as far as South Africa. And
right.
Now you're in Europe. And where are you exactly in Europe? Are you in France or are you in Italy?
3 streets away from the Palais.
Oh, really?
In Cannes.
Really?
Yeah. I don't kid around. You know?
I see. I see. So I'm just gonna have to come visit you on the off season then.
Well, what's interesting about Cannes right now is I don't remember the exact amount. I think it's like 300 million euros that they're putting into the development of the Cannes as a film destination. Not only are they creating a university for a film school, but also developing the whole area as a film destination. Because over the years, you know, especially in the 50s and the 60s, I mean, the south of France was in a lot of movies, you know,
Yes.
Monaco and Cannes.
Yes.
And they're redeveloping that. So it's a very interesting time to be here.
It
Perfect
sounds like
timing,
it.
in fact. Yeah.
So they're doing a whole redevelopment of the whole area so that you can be there year round instead of just for the season of Cannes in May.
Correct. As far as I know, there's going to be a large studio as well.
Get out of here.
So, you know, it's got all the beautiful roads and the beaches and the
Yes,
elegance.
I know.
And it's very romantic. You always think Grace Kelly, you know,
Yes.
that kind of thing. It's not just the red carpet. It's that kind of movie feel. So it's a great destination.
Wow. And you're right there at the bud of the new revolution of Cannes, should I say?
I don't know why I didn't think of it before.
Yeah.
I should have come a long time ago.
So, are you mainly doing film marketing right now in that area?
Actually, my position for the last 2 or 3 years is called producer of marketing and distribution. And I've done some very short films, basically just to build up, you know, my knowledge of it. But over the last 4 years, I've done every course and done all the research on how to do film marketing. Because, as you know, that for, I don't know, about 8 years now, filmdaily.tv has been running as a example of how to write your film business plan.
Yes.
And how to develop your film for an investor. And, you know, basically you start off with your budgets and your income predictions so that you have something solid to present and to show exactly how much or approximately what you are able to make in return, because obviously an investor wants a profit.
Right.
And then I realized that a lot of people were sending me their business plans, and then I realized they haven't figured out their audience. just like in every business,
Yep.
you need to think about your audience before you make the film.
Yeah.
In other words, you can't say you make your own life story and you think that people are going to be interested in that. You've
Right.
got to have a very defined audience.
I agree with you, Lilian, because I mentor up and coming filmmakers myself, and
Yes.
the creative side. All they think about is the creative side in the product, but they don't understand that it's a business. Yes, you're making art, but it's also a business. So you got to treat it like a business. So you got to have the different components that you would have in any regular startup business. Knowing your audience, where distribution is going to end up, is key to be able to bring in those investors who might want to be on the project. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. And now what is so interesting at this time is because I just been to MIPCOM after the festival and realized that distribution has completely actually not collapsed, but everybody's very confused because
Yes.
no, really, it was quite, how can I say, hysterical that people were still trying to drive the old distribution system of going to cinema and to television, but the market is not there anymore.
Right.
Television doesn't really buy original films anymore, and people don't go to cinema, so you don't aim for that anymore. You now aim for video on demand.
Right.
So, which gives you opportunity as a business person in film much easier than before, because now you don't go through the distribution of a company, but you can self-distribute. You can put your film on Amazon, you can put your film on Vimeo, but for that, you need to do your own marketing, and for that, you need to know your audience right from the beginning before you even actually start writing the script. Or if you've got your very basic idea together, then you start to do your research and you find who your audience could possibly be. Say, for instance, a ballerina that's a 14-year-old girl that dreams to be a ballerina. So there you've got two markets there. You've got the age group of 3 years underneath 14, so it's 11, plus 14 plus 3, so 11 to 17 years old is your market. So then you go and look online and you go and search for people that are into ballet, and you find that age group and where they hang out, which I presume right now would be TikTok and Snapchat, and apparently with the youth, YouTube videos are very big.
Yes, YouTube as well. Yes.
Right. So once you've got that audience, you've got to hang out in their groups, understand their language, where they hang out, understand their whole persona.
So, as far as you mentioned, MEPCOM, can you explain what that is for those who might not know what that is?
MEPCOM is so you've got the Cannes Film Festival, which is basically feature films and documentaries. MEPCOM is the television market. It's very much like the one in Los Angeles.
Yes, as far as American film market.
Like AFM, exactly.
Yeah.
It's AFM, but in France. So it's where people come to sell their series, a lot of animation and a lot of children. It's very children content based because I think children still watch TV. That's what.
Well, yeah. As far as
the parents keep their children occupied. You know?
As far as if you can do children programming and as far as teen and adult programming, that's where people are willing to put their money in as far as with any type of advertising, because you're going to get the dollars back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also you're able, especially with animation, you're able to dub over in different languages.
Yes.
So it
It's a
makes
lot
it
easier.
international. It makes a much bigger market.
Yeah, that's a lot easier for animation than it is for live TV. So yeah.
Correct. Although you might have noticed on Netflix or on Amazon Prime, you are able to select the voice as well as the subtitles.
Yes, you can.
Everything is dubbed, and you don't even realize they're not speaking English or Greek or whatever the language the film is made in. So another interesting fact that I learned during this time, because I did all the conferences on both events,
Okay.
was that when you look for your market, the first place you look is around you. And so, in other words, if you're based in the States, you would go for an American ballet teenage market. And that is your core market. And from there, you spread out. So from there, you start, once the film is completed, you go into different territories and
Yes.
you dub them into those languages. But your core market is always your home market, as you might notice on Netflix. Films are in French. It's a German. It's a lot of foreign programming on Netflix, but you can listen to it in English.
We're going to take a quick break, but when I come back, I want to talk to you about after you gain your audience, what would be the next steps? As far as once you figure that out, as far as when we get back.
Yeah, that's sure.
All right, I'm Sonya Dunn. You're listening to The Sonya Dunn Show. We'll be right back.
DC Radio, where you can hear district creatives with Sevi Charisse.
One of the conversations that we have on the show is how to monetize your creative gifts and abilities.
Hearing the Council with Josh Gibson.
You'll learn about policy, learn about people, learn about history, and learn about the institution.
Wit and Reason with Dr. Alexis Moreno.
It seems like there's still a lot of confusion and misunderstanding surrounding the concept of love, so let's break it down.
Rating the Crates with John Avery.
You're raiding the crates on DC Radio, and we're just getting started. So let's kick this party into high gear.
And Rememories for Seniors with Elliot Michael Gold.
The people we love and admire and who set the beat and the music of our lives.
DC Radio, 96.3 and DCRadio.gov. In DC, for DC.
I'm Sonya Dunn. You're listening to The Sonya Dunn Show. We're here with our guest today, Lilian Baksalevowicz, who is in the film industry, especially in the film marketing and producing. And Lilian, thank you for being on our show and giving us your insight.
I'm most excited to talk to you about this subject.
So we were talking about how you need to define your audience. As far as you need to know who your audience is. Now, we were getting ready to talk about defining the audience. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Right. So, say, for instance, you have an idea, and I'm going to stick to the story of the ballerina that is 14 years old.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to go onto Google into AdSense, if you had to advertise.
Right.
And you need to find out how many searches there have been per month. So if you go and you put in teenage ballet, and you've got 100,000 to 1 million queries a month, you've got a very large product. You've got a definite product. It works like that with any business. So if you've got teenage ballet there, so that would be your keywords. So now we're going to go and look for the audience. So we're going to go on to Twitter or TikTok and go to ballet because we know that's where they hang out. The young audience, and we put in ballet, and we follow all those people, and we find which ones have the highest conversion conversation, because followers don't make a lot of difference. It doesn't actually really matter. It's the engagement that matters.
Correct.
So then you contact the owners of those accounts, and you ask them if they'd like to be involved with your film. So now, say for instance, you've now got 3 people with, let's make it 100,000 each followers,
Okay.
and they plug your film. But now the whole thing is, what you need to do is not to drive traffic to your, apart from driving traffic to your own account, which is going to be based on your film, what you need to do, and this is your utmost target, is to get people's email addresses, because a following doesn't really do, you get about a 10% conversion, and you never know what algorithms are going to do, especially on Facebook and Twitter. So you definitely need to get the email address. And once you've got that, you put them into a cycle of information that gives them interest about ballet. So, for instance, what's the latest color of ballet shoes? Is it pink or gold, or all the latest news? You give them information, 3 articles, and then you ask a response for them. You keep them engaged. And once you've done this, because now this is now way before pre-production.
Okay,
You're still gauging your audience.
Right.
And from that conversation, you are able to write your script around it.
Okay.
Put in their language, how you understand it, what the poster is going to look like, where, what their concerns are about life. And then you have an audience. From there, you take your scripts and you write it according to your audience. I know it's very business orientated, but it doesn't really lose your artistic ability. It just gives you more surety of having an income at the end, because you're going to be using that audience once you release the film to go and watch it on Netflix or on Amazon Prime or any of the platforms that you can put it on. In fact, you can actually even now today create your own, you can host it on your websites.
Right. So with that, so we've talked about define, reach, and engage. Now that you have this core group of people who are following you, you can kind of convert them into users. So instead of engaging, they become customers of the product.
That's correct. But you must give them enough content so that you build a relationship with them.
Got it.
And it takes, 1-2 years, so that they have a trust in you.
Yeah. Okay.
It's this marketing has to start before you even start your business plan.
I hear you. So you were talking earlier about how those in the distribution side of film and also content creating, because pretty much it's just content creating, whether it's film or TV or a series. It's just
Correct.
content now. So they look to see now if you have a following in order to be able to determine if they're going to acquisition as far as your end product or invest in the overall film at the beginning of production.
So now we're talking, in that case, we're talking Netflix and Amazon Studios, and it's a very long shot. You need a big budget. You need, I think, 5 million minimum upwards. But if we're talking in independent film terms, you need to distribute yourself, but you need to have many auxiliary products to make your return.
So when you say auxiliary products, what does that mean?
So, okay, I haven't thought this through for the ballet one, but let me just think offhand. It's affiliate marketing for ballet shoes, or showing your film at ballet schools that they pay you to show the film.
Okay. Or
You need
maybe
to,
like a dance conference and showing it at a dance
a
conference.
dance conference, absolutely. And screenings in towns where there's a large ballet community. So you need 5 to 8 auxiliary products around your film. We're talking about posters and, little ballet pins, or hair clips, or everything that's going to sell. And because alone, putting your film, if you don't have a massive audience, is not going to make you an income.
So when you say auxiliary, as far as you're talking about merchandising and marketing materials.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I think Amazon, I stand to be corrected, pays you 30 cents. No, I actually don't know. I think 30 cents an hour per film watched.
Yeah, I think that's correct because I have a couple of films on there, and I think it's around that amount per view.
It's very, very little, So therefore, you need this very, very large audience. Now, if you do get lucky and you do go to Netflix, now the way to get your film noticed is you need your audience to pre-buy the film before it's released. So in other words, they buy the film before it actually goes live on Netflix. And so Netflix immediately will put you much higher on the listing.
Okay.
So which is, apparently it's a trick on Netflix.
So pretty much you're saying film festivals, film markets, try to sell it there first before going to Netflix is your advice?
Film festivals is not really for selling your film. You use film festivals to create buzz and to create. There's not most of the distribution deals get done before Sundance.
Okay.
It's the film festivals is where you get the press, the media for your distribution deal if you haven't got one before. So now, what I mean by distribution deal is you keep your own, the OTT, which is your video on demand rights.
Right.
But you aren't able to sell internationally. So therefore you would go to AFM or to Cannes Film Festival to the market so that you can sell to broadcasters and cinemas, even if it's in a package. And for that, you need the buzz. That's what film festivals are for. So I'm not talking about the Cannes Film Festival, but you're like Sundance and all that.
Right.
To get lots of media. The more media you get, the more a distributor would be interested in your international distribution.
Okay. We're running out of we have actually run out of time, Lilian. We're going to have to bring you back on to talk about everything.
It's been an absolute pleasure. As you know, I'm very excited about the subject.
So thank you for sharing with us how to actually get an audience and find your audience so that you can sell your product in the film industry. So I appreciate that.
Oh, you're so welcome.
If you would like to reach out to Lilian, you can go to filmdaily.tv or you can reach her on her Twitter handle, filmdailytv, or Facebook group, filmdaily.tv.
In DC, for DC, DC Radio, 96.3 HD4, and DCRadio.gov.